We live in a world that's just obsessed with connection. A world where being alone is often seen as some kind of failure. But what if that's the biggest myth holding you back? Well, today, we're going to tear that myth apart and show you why the real peak of power isn't found in the crowd, but in strategic solitude. This quote really makes you ask a fundamental question, doesn't it? Are you the eagle, soaring high with singular focus and vision? Or are you part of the flock, just waiting for your fate to be decided by someone else? This contrast is at the heart of everything we're about to get into. All right, let's start by digging into what I call the crowd's sweet trap. It's this belief we all have deep down that our strength and our success depend on being part of the pack. But as we're about to see, it's really just a psychological trap, one designed to keep you perfectly average. I mean, think about it. From the moment we're born, this program gets installed in our brains. Be agreeable, make lots of friends, build a huge network. We're taught that to be an outsider is to be a failure. And this programming runs so deep that most of us never even think to question it. Right? And these beliefs, they basically become our social rulebook. They're the reason we say yes to every single invitation and cram our calendars with endless and, let's be honest, often low-value interactions. All of it is driven by this deep-seated fear of being left out. Okay, so this brings us to a new way of looking at this whole thing. Let's reframe it through the cold, hard lens of economics. Because when you start treating your life like a business, you realize something pretty shocking pretty quickly. Most social activity is just a bad investment. And what's your most valuable asset? Your time, of course. It's the one thing you can never, ever get back. Every hour you spend making pointless small talk or gossiping is an hour you're not investing in yourself. You're literally trading a non-renewable resource for a quick, cheap hit of emotional validation. So let's get practical. Picture your life as a balance sheet. On one side, you've got liabilities, all the things that drain your time and energy. And on the other, you have assets, the things that actually build your value. The real question is, which side of this ledger are you really investing in? This is just Econ 101, really. When you choose to be just another face in the crowd, you are willingly making yourself a commodity. You become easily replaceable because, hey, there's an oversupply of people who think, act, and talk just like everyone else. And what happens when there's an oversupply? Your value plummets. Now, this brings us to a super important distinction that most people completely miss. See, being alone isn't just one thing. There's a world of difference between loneliness and solitude. One is like being emotionally bankrupt, and the other is like having a huge surplus of internal capital. So, loneliness. That's a position of weakness. It's a deficit. You feel empty, and you need other people to fill you up. It's kind of like a failing business that's begging for a bailout, constantly looking for validation from the outside because it can't generate any value from within. But solitude? That is something else entirely. It's a position of immense power. It's a surplus. You choose to be alone because you're self-sufficient. You don't need external validation because you are your own source of value. You're basically the central bank of your own life, printing your own currency of meaning and purpose. I mean, the difference couldn't be more stark, could it? Loneliness is passive, it's weak, it's needy. Solitude is active, it's powerful, and it's self-contained. And trust me, the crowd can smell the difference. They pity the lonely person, but they respect and, even fear the one who is comfortable in their solitude. So which signal are you sending? All right, so how do you actually get to this powerful state of solitude? You do it by activating what we call monk mode. And no, this isn't about running off to join a monastery. Think of it more like a strategic business decision. You're entering a period of intense research and development for your life. Think about it. When a company is struggling, does it throw more parties? No, it closes its doors to re-engineer its product and get ready for a relaunch. Monk mode is exactly that. It's your time for a quiet restructuring. You disappear from the social scene to secretly build version 2.0 of yourself. Now, the process is pretty simple, but don't get me wrong, it takes some serious ruthlessness. First, you cut all the noise, mute the notifications, leave the useless group chats, say no to pointless invitations. Second, you target and master skills the market actually values. Third, you conduct an honest internal audit. Face your weaknesses head on. And finally, and this one is absolutely crucial, you build your empire in silence. No looking for applause until the work is done.
And let's be real, this process is going to be painful. It takes a ton of discipline. But this quote says it all, doesn't it? You can either choose the temporary, productive pain of self-improvement now, or you can choose the permanent, crushing pain of regret later. Monk mode is where you get to choose your pain. It's your chance to choose wisely. Okay, so let's talk about the payoff. After all this intense, solitary work, what happens? What's the real reward for paying that price and finally claiming the throne of your own life?
Well, when you finally step back out, when you emerge from that R&D phase, the world has to reevaluate you. It has no choice. You're not the same product anymore. By making yourself scarce and building immense value in private, you've transformed yourself from a cheap commodity into a rare and valuable asset. You've completely changed the game.
And the rewards? Oh, they're huge. You stop chasing opportunities, they start chasing you. You become the high-value person everyone wants to connect with. You build an internal foundation so strong that nothing on the outside can shake you. You gain the respect of the very crowd you chose to leave behind. And the biggest prize of all, you get true freedom. This quote right here, this becomes your new reality. The opinions, the gossip of the crowd, all those barking dogs, they just become irrelevant. You're focused on your path, on your hunt. All that noise, it just can't touch you anymore. So at the end of the day, it all boils down to this one choice. The crowd endlessly consumes. They consume content, they consume products, they consume other people's time. But the powerful, the ones forged in solitude, they create value. They build things, they acquire skills, they develop ideas. So the fundamental question you have to ask yourself right now is, which one are you going to be?